Hey guys, what is up? This is Eddie Neddy and welcome to another championship video on the channel. So any guys remember, drop a like on this stream. Let's go for, you know what, 15 likes. Let's try and aim a little bit big compared to these tier making videos. I do love making these videos, and make sure when you guys do around here, please do drop a sub as well. But you guys are here to not talk about this. You guys are here to talk about the title of the video, which is where we're going to be ranking every single championship, all 24 championship managers, as you guys can see here. So we've got Prem level, very good, underrated, good, average, below par, overrated, awful, and then just a dot. So, it's a tough one to... Am I going to do it? I'm going to do it based on this season and also their overall ability. So, this season will, like, hinder some of their managers, like Chris Hughton, who I think is a great manager, you know, but obviously he's not doing too well. That's Feist at the moment. So, we got to Nigel Pearson. We all know how well he did at Leicester, you know, managed at Leicester for a few seasons and then went to clubs like Derby County, went into Belgium. But I don't feel like he's got much of it anymore. I'm going to put in the overrated category. I don't think Nigel Pearson is the right manager for Bristol City. I feel like Bristol City needs to go for someone like, for example, Ryan Lowe from Plymouth, a young upcoming manager, you know, someone that could bring through youth as well. I don't think Pearson is the answer to Bristol City's problems, and I feel like he could potentially be on the way out very soon as I'm recording this. Next one is another manager who's heavily linked to be potentially sacked, Chris Hughton. It's a tough one to put Hughton because he is a very good manager. You know, there's no debate about that, despite what he's done at Nottingham Forest. You know, we all know how well he did at Birmingham, you know, Brighton, Norwich. Did he manage Newcastle as well? I think he might have, you know, Brighton to the Premier League, kept them in the Premier League, and not even like 10 years ago. This was recent. It's only a couple of years ago. This was when Chris Hughton managed to keep Brighton in the Premier League, not comfortably, but, you know, still keeping a club like Brighton and the squad that he had at the time, players like Glenn Murray in the Premier League. But this season obviously hinders him. You do wonder if he's lost it a little bit, his magic. But I'm still going to stick him in good managers over his achievements, which he's done. But this season, massively has hinders his placement. Because if, let's say, Forest was 6 right now, I think I'd be putting him in very good or underrated. But I think good is fair. Next one is Russell Martin. It's a tough one to pick Russell Martin. He's a young manager, done okay with MK Dons. Young, I think that's the factor we got to put into it. He's a young manager. You know, I think he's only like... What is he, 35, 34, very young for a footballing manager. I don't think he's the right man for Swansea, so I might put him below par. But considering his age and we haven't seen too much of him yet, I'm going to put him in average because he's a good young upcoming manager, but he's not the right fit for Swansea. Next one is the Reading manager. It's a tough one, you know, because I think he's done very well at Reading. You know, I think for the circumstance that Reading have been in, you know, recent financial issues, you know, almost got them into the, you know, Premier League last season. Just missed out on the playoffs, you know, by a couple of points. He done fantastic with the squad he had at the time, which is probably, you know, just on the borders of, probably a mid-table team compared to the likes of Bournemouth, you know, West Brom, Fulham, you know, all them teams. I'm going to stick him in... I'm going to stick him in good because he really has surprised me. I expected him to be sacked after like 6 months or something like that, but he really has surprised me. Next one is Mark Robbins. I'm going to put in the underrated category. You know, because I think for what he's done at Coventry, you know, I think he's from Coventry. No, is he? I'm not too sure, but I know he's a massive Coventry kind of legend, as you would say. You know, he brought the club from all the way from League 2 up in the Championship. In real life, they look to be pushing into the playoffs. Imagine that, we can see Coventry in the Premier League again. I'm interested to see where they're going to finish this season, to be brutally honest, you know, with Mark Robbins at the helm. Brought in some fantastic signings, you know, like Martin Baghorn, Victor Goikers, you know, and they've also got the other attacking options of Gustavo Hamer and Tyler Walker. And, you know, they brought some youngster in called Tavares from Rochdale. Fantastic signing. And I think for the budget and the way Coventry was run as a football club back then, and with the stadium issues and potential points deductions and EFFP trouble, I think he's done absolutely fantastic. And on to Toby Mowbray, which is a good manager, Toby Mowbray, but I think I don't think he's the right man for Blackburn anymore. You know, to be brutally honest here, but I am going to just stick him in the average category because he got Blackburn relegated and then he brought them back up again, and he has brought through quite a load of good Blackburn youngsters, and also brought in like the likes of Adam Armstrong, you know. I think him from Newcastle at the time, and obviously sold him on for a massive, I don't even know how much, you know, they sold him on for a lot of money though. Was it like 18 million? Massive amount of money to Blackburn. You know, then again, wasn't Newcastle got a 40% sell-on clause on that? But then again, he's bringing for a lot of good youngsters in real life, like Castillo, Dolan. Dolan's fantastic youngster. Buckley, Pickering, you know, recently brought from Crewe. He's made some very good signings as well, like Kaminsky, massive fan favourite of Blackburn fans, heavily underrated in my opinion. Next one we're going to go is Nathan Jones. I'm going to put him in underrated because I think how on earth he managed to keep Luton up the season when they looked to be surely doomed under Graham Jones. I don't know how on earth he's done it, but he's done it. Fair play to Nathan Jones, very good manager. Doing all right in the Championship, sitting roughly mid-table-ish, you know. Unfortunately, it looks like defensively they have a massive issue this season. You know, shipping 3 goals against West Brom, 5 against Birmingham. You know, then again, they have picked some good results this season. Well, like a 0-0 draw against Sheffield United, fantastic result. Despite Sheffield United not doing too well in real life, they're still a very tough team to beat. Next, we move on to is it Darren Ferguson? Or is it Duncan Ferguson? It's Darren Ferguson. You know, the Peterborough manager. And I'm going to put him in... To be honest with you, I'm going to put him in average because I think he should have got promoted a lot earlier with the Peterborough squad that they had, you know. Like maybe the season for him, the season for that, because they had some fantastic players in at the time, like Jack Marriott, who's a fantastic striker. Back now at Peterborough as well. I can't wait to see how he's going to do. But yeah, I'm going to stick him in average because I do think he's a little bit average. Next one is Neil Warnock. Now, Neil Warnock is such a tough manager to predict and say because he's not doing too well at Borough, but he's got to look at what he's done with other clubs like Sheffield United, Cardiff, done the great escape with Rotherham. He's a fantastic manager. QPR as well. He's a fantastic manager at this level. I'm going to stick him in underrated. I think how much success he's had in the Championship, you either love him or hate him. To be brutally honest, I love Neil Warnock. Honestly, I think he's a great manager, and he's probably one of the funniest managers in the Championship, but I'm going to stick him in underrated. Warburton of QPR, tough one to go with, because if we're with QPR, you know, a few months ago, they all wanted him out. Well, maybe not a few months ago, probably a little bit further than that. You know, they all wanted him out, and now he's turned things around, made some fantastic sign in the transfer window, you know, I think obviously one of the most notable ones, you know, since he's been there is obviously Charlie Austin. I think he also brought in Lyndon Dykes as well, if I'm not wrong, who seems to do absolutely fantastic in the Championship. He's a very experienced manager at this level. I am going to stick into very good. He has been a breath of fresh air for QPR fans at the moment. Also, probably the biggest opinion change I think I've actually seen. Right, Gary Rowett. This is a really tough one to put, Gary Rowett, because let's say if this was 2-3 years ago, be brutally honest, probably here. You know, he's doing well at Birmingham, done very well at Derby County, almost got them both in the playoff spots. 2 clubs which are massively struggling financially. But for now, I think I've got to put in average. He's done average with Millwall, you know, he's done okay, you know, pretty much mid-table. He's finished most seasons, you know, got very close into the playoffs almost. But I'm going to stick him in average. No, I'm actually going to move him up to good. I'm going to move it up to good. I think he's slightly better than the other ones I've got. But then again, okay, my opinion's already changing. But I'm going to go with that. Next one is Lee Bowyer, Premier. I'm joking. As a Birmingham City fan here, I'm going to be brutally honest. Very good. He has done absolute wonders. you know, with Birmingham, you know, sorted out our defence issues. I think we're the best defence in the Championship now. You know, I think maybe joint with West Brom, which is fantastic. You know, West Brom are a Premier League team, really. You know, and like I said, we're a team that's fighting down survival usually. Already got us into like 8th position already. You know, winning a lot of games, beating the likes of Sheffield United, Luton, Derby County, tough games. Derby County only lost once this season. That was against us now. But I think for what Lee Bowyer has done is fantastic. And also what he did at Charlton as well. Going into each season with a less and less and less budget. Almost keeping Charlton in the Championship with youngsters. Fantastic stuff from Lee Bowyer. Mick McCarthy is a tough one to go. I'm going to stick Mick McCarthy in. Mick McCarthy has really surprised me. He really has, I'm going to be brutally honest. He really has surprised me. I'm going to stick him in good. He is going in the good category. He is a good manager, you know, for Cardiff. My only issue is, though, let's say if Cardiff get into the Premier League, I don't think Mick McCarthy is the right man to lead Cardiff in the Premier League, to be brutally honest. Cardiff are a very good physical side. You know, I think I would probably say one of the most feared teams in the league, other than probably West Brom and Fulham. You know, they're such a big physical side, such a tough team to beat at home and away. I think that Ismail, the first manager that is going in the Premier level, he has done absolutely, we all know what he did with Barnes. He took a team that finished 21st all the way over to, what was it, 5th? Fantastic there. He's done absolute wonders. Now doing well at West Brom. West Brom currently sit top of the league. He is ready for that next step. So, Carlos Corbin. Very surprised with this guy. Very surprised with this guy. Very surprised. Because, let's say if this was last season, that's where he would be. If this was last season. But this season, he really has surprised me. You know, he really has. You know, on Huddersfield, like, you know, 5th in the league or something like that, you know. So, yeah, fantastic stuff for Carlos Corbin. I'm going to put, you know what, just because of what he's doing Huddersfield, almost renegated them, and now potentially taking them all the way up the table, I've got to stick him in the good category because he's done fantastic. Next one is, what's his name, McCovery. That is where he's going, like, I don't get it, like, I don't get it, like, they're doing well at the moment, Preston, but I just don't get it. You might as well just stick to Alex Neil, to be brutally honest. He's not really that good of a replacement. He's not an ambitious replacement. You know, he's an okay manager. But I think for the club size of Preston, they need to be aiming a little bit higher. Marco Silva, we're going to stick in the Premier level because he is basically a Premier League manager, to be honest. You know, he did all right at Huddersfield, almost kept Hull City up. You know, shame they're already that deep in trouble, Hull City. But I do think he is a good manager. You know, in the right team. Seems doing well for them, despite Fulham losing 1-0 against Blackpool on the weekend. He is a fantastic manager. Next one is the Blackpool manager, whose name I forget. He'll come to me in a second. But yeah, he was I think he wasn't the ex-Liverpool under-23s manager. Done fantastic with them, honestly. Done fantastic with the under-23s. You know, to put on a show against Villa's first team as well in the Carabao Cup. We all know that. Despite them getting absolutely hammered, at moments, it looked like Liverpool could have potentially maybe closed that gap or got things so much more tighter. I'm going to stick him in the underage categories. I think what he's done with Blackpool, the financial issues at Blackpool as well, to come into a big club, Blackpool, in my opinion, he's done fantastic. Next one is Grant McCann. I'm going to go with below par. To be brutally honest, I think he's slightly below the average in the Championship. I think he's doing okay-ish at Hull. You know, I think Hull have picked up 5 points this season so far. A big win away, 4-1 win away against Preston. And then, you know, losing, you know, quite hefty against teams like QPR. Putting on draws, though, against, I think it was Bournemouth and, was it Fulham? They put on a draw against as well. So, yeah, that's where I'm going to put Grant McCann. Next one is the Barnsley manager, who's a very good young manager, but he's done well at Barnsley, so it's a bit hard to tell. You know, he's a new manager. I don't know too much about him, so I'm going to stick him in the good category. Scott Parker. He is going in. It's a tough one with Scott Parker because he obviously got Fulham in the Premier League, done alright with them in the Premier League despite them getting relegated, but let's face it, I think he should have kept them in the Premier League with the squad that he had, and Agami, he should have probably got top 2 with the squad that he had in the Championship. So I'm going to stick him in good. He's a good manager, doing alright at Bournemouth at the moment, so I'm going to stick him in good. Next one is Wayne Rooney. I'm going to give Wayne Rooney the benefit of the doubt. You know, because I was going to put him in either of these two, but with the financial issues at Derby County, still a young upcoming manager, you got to go down that, so that's surely 2 spaces up. He's not overrated because he's not really rated by anyone. I'm going to put him in below par because he is. You can't play, like Derby, both goals were down to him, his fault. You can't play that type of football with the players that Derby have, you know. Next one is Slavica Jokanovic. I'm going to put him just below Prem level. He's literally on the borders. He is a fantastic manager. Probably the best in the Championship. But the reason why I haven't put him in the Prem level is because he never seems to do well when he gets in the Prem. He's been in the Prem before. Never does that well. Obviously, doing bad at Sheffield United. But Sheffield United picking up a massive win at the moment on the weekend. 6-2. Could that be a massive turnaround in their season? Fantastic result for them. Then Slavica. And the final one is Michael O'Neill. Stoke fans are calling for him out, and like I said, I disagreed with it when I saw it. But Stoke have got a very good team. I'm gonna put him in underrated because he done fantastic to save Stoke from the trouble that they were in. Financially. Not financially, you know, in terms of where they were in the league at the time. I think he saved them from relegation, you know, for basically the midway point of the season. Always tough to drag a team out of that scenario and push them up the league. It wasn't enough overnight. Seemed like Stoke are doing relatively well at the moment, you know. So, yeah, that's where I'm going to put Michael O'Neill. So, that is it for the Championship ranking all managers. Let me know your thoughts in the comments of this video. But yeah, honestly, thank you all for watching, and I hope to catch you all in the next video. Take care, much love, speak to you all soon, people. See ya.